Hello again, welcome to another episode of the Uranium Market Minute. My name is Justin Hune. I'm your host. I'm the founder and publisher of the Uranium Insider Pro newsletter, the only investing newsletter that focuses solely on uranium and is published on a regular monthly basis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we get into it, as always, nothing in this video is meant to be investing advice. I'm not your financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. Please always do your own due diligence when it comes to investing and always take responsibility for your own choices. Another solid day in uranium. Let's jump right into the daily scoreboard here. The price of uranium up 75 cents a pound from yesterday to $45 a pound currently. This is a nice solid run from the low of 37 a pound that we hit a few weeks back. Yesterday, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust took in 34.6 million of new capital, which brings their treasury to 92.3 million in cash as of yesterday's closing. They did not purchase any pounds yesterday. Their current cash position will allow them to buy over 2 million pounds of uranium at current prices. They did close yesterday at a healthy premium to their net asset value of 4.03%, which means into the opening of today's trading, they could issue shares in the open market and raise more cash if they wanted to, even though they're sitting on almost $100 million as of the open this morning. We'll have to see if they were in the market today with a nice move up in the spot price. It's likely they were buying some pounds. Since the 17th of August, which is when their ATM, their at the market financing vehicle launched with the initial 300 million, which was raised to 1.3 billion, they have raised over $877 million and they purchased 18.1 million pounds. The sector equity ETFs, URA and URNM, neither reported any changes in outstanding shares. However, they did see with the strong rally in uranium yesterday, they did see their combined assets under management rise by almost $100 million yesterday alone. Combined, they're closing in on $2.5 billion total assets under management for these two ETFs. They continue to really be leaders in the ETF space in general. And the flow of funds coming into these things really enhances that flywheel when it comes to purchasing their underlying holdings. Let's take a look at the charts. Starting as always with URA, another very solid day, opening up substantially, selling off throughout the day. However, some significant dip buying came in and we closed almost even, break even, just slightly down. Actually, we got a few minutes of trading left here as I record this, but seeing some solid dip buying there, some very respectable volume here. Another good day for this URA vehicle. URNM, pretty similar chart here. It looks like it's starting to kind of back test that breakout point, those previous resistance point, and also some really good dip buying coming into this vehicle today. The Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, big hammer there, a lot of dip buying here, not huge volume, so it's unlikely they issued a lot of shares, but considering that we actually closed, well, I guess we closed higher, huh? We're about to close higher on the day. Even though we traded down from the point from the open, it still looks like there's going to be a slight premium to NAV after today, even though we're up on the spot price of uranium. I would guess we're still 1 to 2% at premium to the net asset value, which means they are either issuing shares into the open market today, potentially, or they will be tomorrow if they remain at that premium to NAV. Taking a look at Cameco, one of the prominent large caps, pretty much following the ETF charts, although the higher highs are stepping up a little bit more here rather than having that straight horizontal resistance point as we see with URNM. Very, very strong looking charts here across the space. I'm going to skip the mailbag today, but I just want to speak really briefly on a conference that's happening right now, the NEI conference, a nuclear fuel conference that happens every year. This is happening in Georgia in the United States. And there's been a number of presenters. Sprott actually presented. And there's been some tweets that came out today. One of them in particular from Art Hyde, managing partner of Seger Capital, their uranium focused fund. Very, very sharp guys who put out really fantastic content. They've done a really, really bang up job with their fund. He tweeted out some screenshots or some photos from a presentation from UXC. Now, you may or may not have heard about UXC. There's some discussion about them over the years. They are one of I would say one of two prominent nuclear fuel consultants, the other one being Trade Tech. UXC is probably the more prominent one. I believe that they have a larger following and a larger customer base than Trade Tech. Their customers are mostly industry folks, uranium fuel buyers specifically. And what UXC does is they track the pricing of all of the elements of the fuel cycle on a daily or monthly basis, depending on the element of the fuel cycle. They put out really in-depth weekly reports to their customer base. And they do really actually solid work. I mean, they do a lot of work in the space, and their research is very respected and very watched by all the industry players. Now, they've had a good amount of criticism from the financial side of things over the past few years, primarily because they've been quite conservative in their forecasts for the price of uranium and for the outlook for nuclear. And the investing community, especially like the guys from Segra, like the guys from Sachem Cove, Mike Alkin and Tim Chilleri, they've done a lot of work to kind of dig into UXCs and some of the other consultants and reporters, price reporters, the work that they've done, and have kind of dug up some errors. One of the prominent things that they get criticized for is counting inventory drawdown as secondary supply. So pounds that are coming out of the ground and making their way into the nuclear fuel cycle are counted as supply as they're mined. They are purchased by a utility and held as inventory for a number of years. And when that utility draws that inventory down, rather than purchasing more uranium to feed the reactors, they'll count that as secondary supply. And that's, as far as I'm concerned, is double counting. But most notably for UXC has just been their conservatism with their forecasting for the sector and for the prices of uranium. And it looks to me like they're finally sort of waking up to the realities that that Sprott, amongst other financial players, are really kind of here to stay. And I want to share also with you one photo from a slide. This is that Art Hyde had shared. And so this is, I want to highlight primarily the last line from this, from the UXC's presentation, Thoughts on the Future. SPUT and other investor activity will fundamentally change the uranium market in ways we are yet to fully appreciate. So that is something to really note. And if you've watched this sector for a number of years, as we have, to note that UXC, who is a very conservative venture, is finally saying, okay, we don't know where this is going. We don't know exactly how this is going to play out. And we likely will not understand fully the effects that are taking place now and are about to take place in the next couple of years based on the financialization of the sector. This, to me, is very, very bullish to see the price reporters finally saying, hey, guys, we're doing our best to call it, but we don't know what's going to happen. And for an entity like UXC to be using language like this is quite striking. So I just wanted to note that. As always, if you're interested in receiving a sample newsletter and seeing the performance of our sample portfolio, our focus list of uranium stocks, click the link in the description below. It'll also be pinned to the top of the comments. That will allow you to download a previous month's newsletter. You can get an idea of the type of content we put out. Until next time, I will see you guys tomorrow. Cheers. Have a great day.